Page 48, Alouette Day. At the top of the page, they show you some patterns of broken chords for the left hand. I'll come back to those when I get to the left hand. I want to go through my process for learning a new piece of music here. So look it over. It's 4 lines long, treble and bass clef, 1 flat in the key signature. It's in the key of F major. Make sure you're doing the F major scale. I got videos on it. You've heard this lecture before, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you know what to do, I hope. If not, go back and watch some previous videos where I explain it. 4/4 time signature. We got what? Dotted rhythms, eighth notes, quarter notes, and this pattern for the left hand, which I'll talk about when I get to the left hand. Let's do the right hand first. So make sure we just got the rhythms and everything down. Now, in this particular arrangement of this, you're not really moving around. Your thumb is here. That puts your hand in this position. Don't forget the B flat. It's in the key signature. You're not moving around. Therefore, you don't need any of these other finger numbers for the right hand. Please don't be reading finger numbers. You read the notes. Dotted rhythm right off the bat. 1 and 2 and 3. And I'm hoping by now you're kind of getting more comfortable with dotted rhythms. To just briefly, we go over it. The dot gets half the value of the note, so it's the same as an eighth note here. So the quarter note comes on beat 1, and it takes up the whole beat. That means the dot comes on beat 2, but it's tied to the quarter note. So you're holding the quarter note down. And then the eighth note comes on the end of 2. 1 and 2 and 3. 1. Rest. There's no rest in the upper staff. I really wish they would have put one in. If you want to take a pencil and draw in a rest for the upper staff, that's fine, because we need 4 beats in that measure, and that's fine. 1 and 2. That's really the trickiest part. Let's go down to the third line if you want to just seize 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. The left hand, well, we have this broken chord pattern, and this happens quite a bit. And what I'm doing is transferring weight from one side of the hand to the other. I'm just kind of rolling here. I exaggerate it so you can see it for the camera, but it's really pretty small. But let's just go over in the music now, not up above, in the music. If I take all the notes in that first measure together, it is an F chord, all of them. Because I have the F here and then the C. It's an F chord. And this is a broken F chord because I'm not playing them all at the same time. I'm playing these two and then that one. Remember, a broken chord is anything where they're not down at the same time. And the whole chord is the F chord, and they're not all down at the same time because I'm not playing the C. So it's here. And I'm rotating here. The kicker is I got to get 2 notes down at the same time now. When I transfer weight, the weight's going to 2 fingers instead of 1. So it's here to here to here. And if you find you're always early with one finger, or one finger's always behind, I should say, I go here or something, then focus on the finger that's late and get it down. And don't worry about the other finger, just let it go. Just focus on here, and then just let the other finger go down too. I mean, it could be any finger that's late, but the late finger is the one you got to focus on to get it down on time, and the others should behave. Second measure, you're this here. That's a 5/7 chord, or a dominant 7 chord in the key of F. And it's just these 2 here. I'm still just rotating here. Transfer. That's really all you're doing in the left hand. Put the hands together. Let's just see. These go down together, and then here. You see the 8th note is in between the quarter notes in the left hand. That means it's going down in between them. So you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it however many times, I don't care. Get rid of any hesitations. Keep it as slow as you got to, don't care, but no hesitations anywhere. A steady beat throughout the whole thing. And once we do that, then I add the articulation, which here all I have is a few slurs. I would suggest you find the phrases and connect the phrases and lift up between the phrases. You see on a slur, and these are just slurs here they're showing you. This curved line, these are slurs. A slur means you connect the notes within the slur with thumb. Connect those as best you can. But you do not always lift up before or after a slur. Not always. But a phrase you do. Now a phrase you lift up before or after, and after, but you don't always connect the notes inside a phrase. But they're both can be indicated with a curved line. Is this confusing or what? My suggestion is forget the curved lines, connect everything you can, and lift up between the phrases. We just have to find out where the phrases are. Well, if we use the words, it starts out with each measure being a phrase. And it's interpretation. How do you prefer to have it interpreted? I don't like short phrases. To me, that's a choppy thing. I want to kind of end it out. I want it to flow more. So I might just try and make longer sentences out of this. Maybe I will do 2 measure phrases, and I will connect the first 2 measures together. It's one way of doing it. Maybe I want 4 measure phrases. I'll connect all first 4 measures together. Then lift up. There's different ways of interpreting the music, and I leave it up to you. If you want 1 measure phrases, that's fine. You lift up between each, just a little lift, like taking a breath. In the left hand, connect these. All the way through, connect them. Now they're showing slurs there in the second line, second measure. That's fine, I'd connect them anyway. But in my mind, I'm just going to connect the left hand all the way through. So in the first line, if I'm going to lift up here, I'm not here. I'm connecting this here. Now, into the second measure, that last note in the left hand, that's melody. So there you do lift up. If you're lifting up with each measure, you got to lift that up too. You can't connect that because it's melody. Huh? You get the idea. I'll leave it up to you on how you're going to slur it or phrase it. That's interpretation, or your teacher can tell you. Then the dynamics. MF is mezzo forte, and that goes to the melody. Whatever you think moderately loud is, these chords need to be soft. So you're sort of heavy in one hand and you're light in the other. But the last note of the second measure, that's melody. It's got to be the same as the right hand. So you're light, and then one note you bring out, and then you're back to light again. So that's a trick. But we got to be able to do that anyway. So this is a good exercise. Now you don't really have to play the whole thing at one dynamic level. Get into it. If you feel like getting a little louder and softer, that's fine. Go with it. Now in the second line, in the second measure here, all these repeated notes, if you want to play all of these with one finger, that's up to you. Just use a wrist action here. If you want to use different fingers too, usually what I do is I'll start with whatever finger I need to, and then I'll switch and maybe use a thumb and 2 here. So it's 5-1. Like that, to make it a little easier. And then in the next measure, go back to the 5. And then even the nose, I can do a 1-2-1. I can do a 5-4-5 and a 1-2-1. It's a personal thing. You decide on the fingering you want and stick with what you decide. Now again, you got to watch out for the melody because sometimes it's in the left hand. Like the second measure of the first line. In the third line down in the first two measures, the left hand's got melody. And then the half note, that's melody. So it's got to sound the same as the right hand. And then this is soft and then loud. So watch out when the left hand gets melody, it's got to sound like the right hand is playing it. Now, speed, allegretto, it's a fun piece. How fast can you do these repeated notes? That's sort of how fast you can take the piece. You take it at your speed. You don't have to go that fast. A few more cups of coffee, I'd probably go faster than that. Who knows? Just you make it yours. Let's play it together very slowly and check all the notes and rhythms. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I don't do dynamics here. I just notes and rhythms. That's all we're checking. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready and go, and 1 and 2. And 4 and. Three and 4 and.